Hello and welcome to this updated video guide for completing the Royal Menagerie in Final Fantasy XIV Shadowbringers. My name is TSDS and in this video you'll learn everything you need to know. I never finished that sentence. Now, I need to explain a lot of mechanics here because the mechanic pool is so large, but many of these abilities you just won't see in a single attempt, so don't fret too much. The fight is quite easy, so let's take a look. For the tanks, despite the boss having aggro on one of you, you'll actually both tank the boss at the same time, as instead of taking traditional damage, Shinryu's wings will frequently zap the two of you. You won't need to worry about turning the boss or anything like that, and to be honest this fight is easy on the tanks, as zap damage is rather low. Now, the first thing to note is the corrupted Aether Bar on the UI. This is the duty gauge in the UI menu. This fills up automatically during the fight, and every time it's full, Shinryu will use one of 6 different attacks based upon a primal from A Realm Reborn. However, it's worth noting that on average, you'll actually only see this filled 3 times over the whole fight. These attacks will all have decent cast times, so once the corrupted Aether Bar is full, just take a look at what the boss is casting so you'll know if you need to react or not. To make this easy, the first move is always Tidal Wave. For this ability, you'll see a spout of water on one edge of the platform. Just go and stand next to it and wait, because once the cast goes off, you'll all get punted away. This will likely cause anyone who wasn't standing rather close to get sent off the platform to their death. This attack will also leave some pools of water on the ground which you can ignore. In Phase 1, the next corrupted Aether cast will either be Judgment Bolt or Hellfire. Neither of these really matter, but Hellfire deals fire damage, so stand in a pool of water to reduce damage taken. On the other hand, Judgment Bolt deals lightning damage, so make sure you're not standing in a pool of water for that one. After 2 corrupted Aether attacks, Phase 2 will begin. However, before we jump ahead, there are some other mechanics to go through. Now, both of Shinryu's wings will appear in the enemy list, and while you can't kill them, they will occasionally cast attacks of their own. These occur throughout the first and last phase. Levin Bolt marks nearly everyone with this purple indicator and zaps them after a short time. Just spread out to avoid overlapping hits. Hypernova is a stack-up marker, so group together when you see the arrows and share the damage. Ice Storm is mostly used in the final phase and just deals group damage, so can be ignored. Summon Icicle, on the other hand, sends 2 groups of line AoEs down the platform. The second set covers the safe area of the first set, so just wait for the first lines to go off and then move to where they were. Shinryu himself can also cast a purple Akmorn, though this is a bit different than Nidhogg's. This will hit the boss's target a few times, but honestly you can just ignore it because it doesn't seem to split damage like with Nidhogg's. I mean, maybe it splits between the tanks, but I honestly can't even tell looking back at the footage, and you might not even see the move. In the final phase, Akmorns will be accompanied by a blue beam on a random player, but those you can just move out of. The last move to mention here is Earth Breath. This targets 2 players, signified by this red indicator, and will send a massive conal AoE at both players. If you get targeted by this, just move to either side of the platform so the AoE will miss your party. Now then, as I said earlier, after 2 corrupted Aether Bar attacks, Phase 2 will begin. The boss will fly out of combat and a number of proximity AoEs will hit the platform. After they hit, an ad will appear for each proximity AoE. Once you kill them, and they die fast, more proximity AoEs will drop with further ads. This happens 3 times in total. The ads are very easy, but the proximity AoEs can cause panic. They can come in a number of different patterns, but the first set has 3, the second 4, and the third and final set has 5 AoEs. The 3 AoE patterns are rather easy to spot the safe spots in. The 4 AoE patterns will either have a safe spot in one corner or in the middle of the room. The 5 AoE pattern has an AoE in each corner and one in the middle, so for this one just move to one edge between the corners. Generally, just pick a direction and stick with it because indecisiveness can do more harm than good. Once the third and final set of ads are down, the boss will put you in an active time maneuver. Here you have 5 seconds to fill up this bar, either by clicking the button or spamming any combination of buttons on your keyboard, which is a lot easier than clicking. If you fail this, you will die, but don't panic as it's not that hard. The boss will destroy the platform and send you all down onto a crafting bench, starting the final phase. As soon as you land, Shinryu will do a massive AoE across the platform, so get ready to run to the safe area at a nearby corner. Getting hit by this will knock you back, which is lethal if you fall off the platform. Do note that while it's extremely rare, he can use this ability again during the final phase. Now then, tanks can grab the boss again and basically continue to do nothing. You'll see a lot of the group damage ice storms being cast here, and do watch out for the summon icicle line AoEs that might come now and then. For other mechanics to look out for in this phase, 2 players can get linked by fire chains, and just like the final boss in the vault, linked players should move away from each other until the link breaks, or you'll take a bit of damage. Now then, you may have noticed that the floor here is split into large squares, and you may have noticed that the middle square is a different colour. During this phase, the boss will use Tail Slam, which is marked by 2 connected floor squares getting this red AoE indicator. When this attack lands, the boss's tail appears on the platform and can be killed. It doesn't have a lot of health, and killing this deals massive damage to the boss, so make sure to swap to this for every Tail Slam. Now, when a floor square is hit by a Tail Slam, it cracks. If a cracked floor tile is hit by another Tail Slam, it gets destroyed, which reduces the encounter space. The floor square in the middle is a different colour because this is the only tile that cannot be destroyed. This isn't actually as big of a deal as it sounds, but just be careful when standing on a cracked tile if another Tail Slam is coming in. The final thing to talk about is the corrupted Aether Bar again. When it reaches around 80 out of 100, the boss will do a sand coloured AoE on the middle square. Just move away from this to avoid the stomp attack. When the bar is filled, you'll see potentially any of the 6 primal attacks, the 3 I mentioned earlier, and these 3 new ones. Aerial Blast just puts a knockback whirlwind in the middle of the room, which knocks you back a number of times before vanishing. It doesn't knock you back that far, but just be careful if any of the floor tiles are missing. Diamond Dust deals group damage and for a short time after causes any player who moves to slide in a long way in that direction, making this the most lethal attack. Just don't move for a little bit after the attack and you'll be okay. Diamond Dust also places water pools on the floor like Tidal Wave. The final primal move is Earthen Fury, but this only deals group damage, so ignore it. Now then, to talk on this for just a moment longer, I ran this place a lot of times. In Phase 1, I only ever saw Tidal Wave, Judgment Bolt and Hellfire. Hellfire was also far rarer. In Phase 3, while I can believe that all of the moves are available, I only ever saw Aerial Blast, Diamond Dust and Earthen Fury, and Earthen Fury was also extremely rare. So you'll most likely get Tidal Wave and Judgment Bolt in Phase 1, and then either a single Aerial Blast or Diamond Dust in Phase 3. The final phase just goes so quickly that you're unlikely to see a 4th corrupted Aether attack. In closing, while it's a little bit silly to try and remember so many mechanics when you will definitely not see them all in one attempt, DPS is just too high these days and I need to cover them all just in case you get one of the more rarely seen abilities, so here we are. Just keep an eye out for all of the different attacks, and as long as you don't fall off the platform, you'll be alright. And healers should note that if people do fall off the platform and die, their bodies will eventually be put back on the platform so can be revived. And that's the Royal Menagerie. If you've enjoyed the guide, then let me know. And if there are any other guides or perspectives you'd like to see, then check out my channel or feel free to ask me to create one. Thank you for watching, and good luck. Also, because I ran this place so many times, I did start to play to see how fast I could complete the QuickTime event thing by just spamming the keyboard. So if you could beat my score here, well done to you. And I don't know why, but I also did it the reverse. So I tried to see how little time I could leave without dying. So if you can leave a smaller amount of time than this and still survive, then let me know, because that's kind of funny, I guess. I mean, I don't know. I've done this place so many fucking times just to see all the mechanics. It was a great ball ache.